We've been there before, you know. We've seen the demise of the automotive industry in the United Kingdom, yeah. Since 2016. Since all their numpties, they voted to leave the European Union. And now, effectively, the Donald, that tangerine tyrant, is leaving world markets, effectively, for the car industry. And car manufacturing is notorious. It goes across the border several times, just racking up the price. Components, or whole cars, you know. It all gets a lot more expensive for the end user, the buyer. And we saw that in the United Kingdom with the Brexit, especially under Boris Johnson and Richie Sunak and Liz Truss, who was beaten by a lettuce, that she was. Well, we saw it all before, and we're seeing it again. The demise of the car manufacturing industry, and it's a slow drip, drip, drip. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts it is. See, the manufacturers are going to do what they can to heal the wounds and try and repair, and how do we make this work? But eventually it gets them. Like I say, it's a death by 1,000 cuts. Even Nissan in the UK are contemplating leaving the United Kingdom now. Bit by bit by bit. You see? Now, you see what's going on in the United States with the global car industry as well, you know. So, the United States and the global car industry, it's all dangled by a feckin' thread. Thanks to wars and pandemics, for us with Brexit, you know, for you, Donald Trump, and, you know, supply chain disasters. Can't get the stuff we need. No. And now you're facing even more chaos. Because of that tangerine tyrant, Donald Trump. Yes, bloody Trump slapped on 145 then 245% tariff on Chinese imports. And then you've got the tariffs on aluminium and steel, etc., etc. It all adds up, you know. Huge amount of money. The tariffs become so fucking high, it's no longer a tariff, it becomes a trade embargo. Now, 145%, or is it 245%? I'm losing track now. It's just 1 minute's on, next minute's off. They don't know what's going on either, do they? They ain't got a clue what the tariff is going to be tomorrow, let alone today. It's kind of like, I don't know, at this point it feels a bit like it's less of a trade policy, but more of a tantrum with paperwork. And why? Because it's all about protecting American manufacturers. Sorry. And workers. It's having the opposite effect. Brilliant. See, when you make cars more expensive to build, ship and sell, then you've got the desirability as well, you know. You become ostracised because people think, oh, doing that now. Yeah, it's Donald Trump, it's an American guy, well, you know. Because you've ostracised everybody, and everybody, you know, hates you. Whether it's deserved or not, you know. Not everyone voted for this shit, did they? Let's be honest. Well, this doesn't help anybody, the situation. It screws over everybody. You see in the manufacturing of motor cars, there's so many thousands of different components. They all come from different places. All these different places have workers. Those workers in the whole cycle. It's a world economy. It's just how it is now. And those who can actually produce the cheapest will sell the most, because we all buy on price. As soon as you rack the prices up, we buy less. That's how they control inflation. Whack interest rates up. Control spending, reduce inflation. So these tariffs there's a possibility it could increase inflation, but on mainly on necessities like fuel and energy and stuff like that. But in other areas, it could actually bring down inflation because people buy less. Instead, if you did want a car, you'd have to remortgage your fucking kidneys. Now, Bill Russo is an expert. You should listen to the experts, okay? because he really knows his shit, he does. And he says that the car industry depends on, well, big low-cost markets like China. But Trump's solution? Smash it all to fucking bits with a hammer and then call it bloody patriotism. It's not patriotism when you are going to cripple your own markets and, no, your own country. It's not, you can't just, if that was going to be your policy, you got to do it gradually and you got to tease them back so you don't break the market. These people can't just, these industries, they can't just leave where they are and all of a sudden set up. I've heard people tell me, oh, they're going to restart the factory in this state or restart a factory in that state. You can't just restart the factories. There's all the tooling. It takes a long time. You know? A machine that was designed to make, I don't know, old Pontiac panels from 1978 is no longer going to be doing, I don't know, Chryslers in 2025, are they? You need all new tooling. You can't just shift to one place. You have a break in your market. The cost of that, all of a sudden, because you've got so many outgoings, so many outlays, you're not. It's just a case of, oh, well, your turnover's going down. You've got to try and fund everything that's going on around you. You've got bills to pay. And so have all the people who sell those cars. Now, Chinese car makers, they're laughing their fucking asses off, they are. They really are. Because they're looking for new markets. They, as far as I'm concerned, they don't have to sell to the United States. They've worked that out for themselves years ago. There are other markets they haven't actually tapped properly yet. Okay, there might be a downturn. There certainly will be a downturn because there's 350 million people in the United States. That's a lot of potential customers, even though some of them will be babies. It feels like you're punching yourselves in your face. It does. Punch yourself in the face to teach your neighbour a lesson or something crazy. And that is what there's the EU as well, the European Union. They're stuck too. Trying to figure out how not to get flattened in the middle of all this. Keir Starmer's dancing around on the head of a pin. Trying to keep everybody happy. It's not possible. It's not possible. You need direction so you can keep moving. In a direction. As soon as you've got this anchor bar, you're dragging you back. You've got to keep Donald Trump happy, you've got to keep China happy, you've got to keep them happy, you've got to keep EU happy. Now, luckily, Rachel Reeves did say the other day that China is a more important market than the United States. It is. No, she did say that. No, she said the EU is. The EU is a more important market. But obviously for meat products and stuff, I suppose. I would say China is as well, to be fair. We are heavily reliant on Chinese products. So is the European Union. You know? If we want all those components, we need to push back from China, but we need to build the factories before we do that. And then push back on them, then tariff those items, those products, because then you can build up your own industry. But you don't do it preemptive. It's just like, it's ridiculous. This is just like some kind of, I don't know, it's like some giant dick measuring contest. So you've got Beijing and Brussels already cozying up with each other, like kids stuck at the, on the uncool table, all thanks to Donald Trump's America First crusade. It's not America First. It's crippling you. It's not policy. It's economic arson. It really is. And we're all going to be picking up the fucking ashes. Hopefully there'll be a phoenix at the end of it. But anyway, you tell me. Please leave in the comments down below. But please share my videos. Beat the old like button. And if you want to support the channel, do it on Patreon and buy us coffee and links down below. It's a fucking mess, so it is. Toodaloo.